Sorghum Partners, powered by Chromatin. So we're going to learn a lot more about sorghum. With me is Scott Stagenberg, and Scott is Vice President of Research and Development for sorghum. As you should know, if you're watching this with Commodity Classic, sorghum producers are one of the 4 commodity groups involved in this, and sorghum production is growing. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So Scott, tell me about the importance of research and development for getting new hybrids for sorghum.
Well, as you know, that there's a lot of challenges in any crop you grow. A great example here recently is the sugarcane aphid that has caused problems in sorghum. First saw it in 2013. Has steadily become a bigger problem with wider geography. And so, you know, when the sugarcane aphid was first discovered, we immediately started to look. Our research and development team immediately started to try to get an understanding of not only how the resistance or tolerance might work in a plant, but also what are the sources, how can we bring new hybrids forward that have tolerance to this insect.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so tell me what happened.
Well, we have screened quite a few hybrids in our greenhouse in Lubbock, Texas. We do that over the winter. So we actually take things that could be potentially new sources of resistance, expose them to the insects in our greenhouse, and then the ones that survive, we go in and use those as part of our breeding program to develop new tools. We also have a fully enabled molecular biology program, and through the work they have done over the last year, they have learned to understand where the molecular markers are for the source of resistance, and so that allows us to do 2 things. That allows us to screen germplasm and hybrids and parent lines to find the ones that have the tolerance in it much faster. It has also allowed us to determine when we find new germplasm that shows tolerance, whether it's a new source or it's the same source as we had before.
So what, here, when you have sorghum growers coming by here, what are you telling them about the hybrids that you have available for 2017?
Well, one of the first things that we do talk about is we find out where they're from, obviously, and in the geographies that most people are looking for, the things we run across here, sugarcane aphid is really a big topic, particularly if you're basically Kansas south. You know, if you're anywhere in Texas, Oklahoma, anywhere on the East Coast, Florida, the Carolinas, that's a big topic. And so, obviously, those customers, we direct them toward the 4 newer within the last 2 years. We've got a new one this year. 74 C40 is a new sugarcane aphid tolerant hybrid that fits very well in eastern Kansas. We're happy to have this one. Fits a new geography in our lineup, as well as is extremely tolerant to sugarcane aphids, so it helps with that problem. We've got other hybrids that fit well into central and south Texas, into Oklahoma, and we've got 2 products that have been 7715 has been the leader on the East Coast and in the Mississippi Delta for the last 2 years. So we feel really comfortable with the results of our research and development over the last 5 years working on sugarcane aphid.
Well, traditionally, the growing area for sorghum has been the Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas area, right? Are you seeing geography spread out for sorghum production?
Oh, absolutely. One of our fastest growing areas has been actually South Dakota. There's a lot of interest in South Dakota, southwest Minnesota. We have some new growers that have been very successful over the last 2 years, and so that's kind of an exciting environment to watch, or geography to watch sorghum grow into. Of course, there's always interest in the Mississippi Delta because of the fact that a lot of sorghum is exported. The fact that the river's right there gives them price opportunities that other people in traditional areas may not get. And so we have seen sorghum acres grow over time over there. They ebb and flow a little bit because those growers do have opportunities to grow a lot of different crops, and so prices play a big role there. But it is an area that's been growing. We get a lot of interest from there. And of course, our other fast-growing area is along the East Coast. Because of the fact that there's a lot of swine operations on the East Coast, a lot of poultry operations on the East Coast, a lot of soils that aren't really that conducive to high-yielding corn production, sorghum's a really good fit. And so we have seen tremendous growth from basically Virginia clear down into Florida for both grain sorghum and forage sorghum. Our forage sorghum demand in Florida and Georgia has increased quite a bit in the last 3 years, again because of sugarcane aphid challenges, drought, high temperatures, and that's a perfect fit for sorghum. It loves those kind of temperatures. It's very common for people to plant forage sorghum for silage and goes into all the dairies in Florida. A lot of dairies in Florida are using forage
What about sorghum for energy production? Are you seeing more of that?
Well, we have worked on that over the years. In the United States, that has stalled a little bit right now. I mean, ethanol is still important from a grain side.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. Ethanol is still, one of the most popular renewable energy out there in the United States right now. A lot of the other renewable energy projects are overseas, and we're seeing a bit of a push in Europe to try to use sorghum as part of both biogas production as well as burning, direct combustion. And so we've been involved in research as well as have sales in those areas in the EU as well as other places around the world.
Well, because your company is international. You're in how many countries?
I think right now we are selling in 52. We have registrations actively going, and would put us up to 7.
And all the research that you're doing, it's not just, I mean, here the farmers are concerned about yield and being able to grow more, but really sorghum has a lot of potential for helping to feed the world, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you think about what is often termed marginal acres, those acres where maybe it's too sandy to grow something else, it's hot, it's dry, that's where sorghum fits well. We've got a project going on right now looking at increasing salt tolerance. That way we can, again, go into some of the salt-affected areas, both in the United States. There are places in California, Arizona, parts of Texas where salty soil is a problem. Sorghum's a natural fit for that. We're going to try to boost that tolerance. And then there's other places around the world where salt is a big concern.
Interesting. So what are some of the kind of questions that you're getting from growers as they're coming through the booths here at Commodity Classic?
Well, one of the big ones this year is we've had a lot of people from kind of the upper Midwest, Wisconsin, northern Iowa, parts of Minnesota, looking for silage sources because of the seed costs. The sorghum seed costs are quite low. To plant an acre of forage sorghum for a silage crop is probably somewhere in the range of $15 an acre. And with prices the way they are right now, that is very attractive. And so we've had a lot of interest in our forage sorghum for a silage source in the dairy markets.
Interesting. That is very interesting. Well, Scott, that's really all the specific questions I have. What else would you like to add?
Well, I just want to remind everyone that Chromatin, the parent company for Sorghum Partners, is committed to sorghum. That is all we do every day. We are a sorghum-only company. So we have 4 active sorghum breeders in the United States, and that's all they do every day is work on sorghum. Customer service people, that's all they focus on is our sorghum customers. All of our molecular team, that's what they focus on every day. So that's what we think about every day is improving sorghum. And we believe there's a big future in sorghum, so that's why we're committed to it.
Well, excellent. Well, if you're still at Commodity Classic, please feel free to come by this booth, the Sorghum Partners booth. It's in the 3400 block at the trade show. So please come by and find out more. If you're not here and you want to find out more, go to chromatininc.com.